So welcome back to day 6 of Stitchmas. Today's Stitchmas is all about a sewing room tour, and we're going to be making some cute little Wisemen at the end. But I recently moved and thought it'd be really fun to do a very quick sewing room tour of my new space. So when you walk in, you have this little corridor, and then you can see all of my drawings and sketches that I have up on the wall, so very similar to my previous sewing room. And then I have my little shelf that has my plant and some little items I have, my Scooby-Doo collection. And then we still kind of have a mess, as you can see here. There's just a lot of stuff going on here, but I'm going to hopefully clean a lot of this up after the holidays, as in this white tub is a bunch of holiday fabrics. And then this corner is also a little messy, but again, after the holidays, a lot of this will be going away, as it was from my Christmas tree skirt I put together. Then I have my sewing machine, my serger, some ironing items, and then my box of cubbies. You may have seen some of my other videos. I love these. The closet, though, is really where most of my stuff is right now. So this contains all of my fabric. It contains my fabric notions. I have it organized, though, where the boxes on the bottom are the fabrics I use less often. And then as you work your way up are items I use more often. So all the notions are easily accessible. And then everything on the top, these are all the projects I'm going to be working on. So if you saw the previous Stitchmas for, I think, day 3, that had my 2023 projects. Now, with all that said, I think we're actually going to do a little sewing today and make these really cute 3 Wisemen, like little figurines. They're little plushes. All the instructions are included. I think these are actually from like maybe the late 80s, early 90s. My mom actually had these as well, and over time she lost 2 of them, so we only had 1 Wiseman left. But my husband found this on eBay, and we thought it'd be a really fun way to make something quick and easy for the holidays. So the first step for this was you just had to cut them all out. It was very simple, very straightforward, as there were kind of guidelines for you for where you should be cutting it out. It left about a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so it was really nice. I used a mix of my scissors and rotary cutter because I didn't know which was going to be faster, so I tested it out. As you can see here, you have like a front and back for the Wiseman, and then you just had to match it up. I used my quilting clips because you wanted to match it up so the pattern, you know, it matched perfectly, like it looked fully 3-dimensional. One of the Wisemen was really hard to do. I think that there may have been an issue with the printing of the fabric, like the headdress for it, and then the back just wouldn't match up correctly. But anyways, I got through it, and the next step was I cut out the base, and you also had to cut out a piece of cardboard for the base. So I went with an Amazon box. I feel like if you ever make one of these and you have an Amazon box on hand, their cardboard is easier to cut through, and it is not as thick as normal cardboard, so it kind of saves your hands a little bit of having to cut through it. And I just repeated this exact same process for the other 2 pieces of those cardboard. Once I had all the cardboard pieces cut out, though, it was actually time to begin sewing, so I just began sewing the front and the back of the Wiseman together, very carefully, stitching very closely to the colorful part of the design, and then I repeated this for the other 2 Wisemen. Again, this was very quick, a really fun project that was coming together nicely. So now that I had the 3 of them, what it was time to do was I went through and clipped the curves. It didn't actually say to do this on the instructions, but I thought it would lay a lot nicer if I did. So I just took the time to go through and cut off any of this extra fabric that were really like kind of on the edges where it was curving, as well as clip the curves around the top of the head so that when you turn this right side out, it would look a lot better and lay neater. Once I had done that for all 3 Wisemen, I went ahead and just turned these right side out. They started to look so nice. It was such like a fun project to come together. Then it was just time to sew the base onto the 3 Wisemen themselves. So in the instructions, it said that you only wanted to pin half of this on. So I just went around and used my quilting clips and kind of placed half of the circle so the other half stayed open. This was going to allow you to be able to stuff it and add that little cardboard base. So once I did that, I just sewed up half all the way around, again taking a very small seam allowance, and then you can see that I had all 3 done. And then this became another opportunity where you really want to clip the curves, and it does say in the instructions to do this for the base, but you just want to make sure that it doesn't bulk up and look like kind of messy. So I went through, clipped it very nicely, as close to that stitch as I could get it, and then I did turn them right side out, so it was time to stuff. I used my polyfill as well as some stuffing that I got from Michael's, and just went through, pulled the stuffing apart, and then just stuffed the whole base for each of the Wisemen up. Now, with the way that these are going to be used, you do want to make sure that they're stuffed nice and firm, so that can take a little time. So you just want to make sure that you're really getting your stuffing, you're pulling it apart and making sure that it's going to lay nicely. So here is the completed Wiseman. All of them have now been stuffed. So they all are looking really good, and now it's time to add the base so that they stand up nicely. When I added the cardboard base I had originally cut out, it turned out to be too big. This may have been my fault. I may have taken too large of a seam allowance when I added the base onto the Wisemen themselves. So what I did was I just went through and cut some more of the cardboard off so that it would fit better and I'd be able to sew it up. So as you can see here, this Wiseman is all complete. I have now taken that whip stitch all the way around, and he stands so nicely with that cardboard base. So now I just went ahead and whip stitched the other two Wisemen up. If you use the exact same color thread, this actually ends up being a really easy process, as you're not able to really see the stitch too much, and it's very easy to hand stitch. So you just go through and kind of hand stitch that other half of the base, and then you get all three done. They look really fun and really cute. I like the shape of them, and I think that it's nice that they have different shapes so that you don't have to worry about them kind of being on top of each other. I did have them travel down the stairs since they are traveling Wisemen, and here's what they look like at the end. I absolutely love how they turn out, and it was such a quick and easy process. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for the last day of Stitchmas tomorrow. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.